2 years ago, I picked up the sticks and started learning drums. It's been a whole lot of learning and a whole lot of fun as well. In this video, I'm going to break down some of the mistakes that I made that slowed me down and sharing what you can do to progress more effectively than I did. I've put my struggles into 3 categories: technique, creativity, and confidence. And at the end of each, I'll give you a couple of ideas that you can put into action to hopefully avoid the mistakes that I made. So let's start with technique. In my first year, I felt like I progressed quite fast. Going from nothing to a beginner level is really exciting. Everything's quick and you progress quite rapidly as well. But I found that in my second year, I started to hit a wall, and that wall was technique. A list started to form: rim shots, dynamics, finger control, push-pull or molar technique, heel-toe, and the list goes on and on. It turns out that good technique takes so much time, more than 2 years, and sometimes it can be a bit frustrating. So what I tried to do is I tried to put a month aside to learn a certain technique. You'll see that I made a video that's 1 month to learn the push-pull technique. So I spent the entire month learning the push-pull technique, trying to get faster hands and trying to get that technique dialed. But I quickly realized that these aren't things that you can master in a month. It's a long road and progress takes so much more time than you think. For some reason, I'm the type of person that obsesses over technique and kind of gets really interested in the nitty-gritty of how to play things. And I don't just sit there and learn songs over and over. But actually, if I was just to have fun, learn songs, and take a bit more of a chilled approach to it, I may have become more comfortable on the drums and then could bring these techniques in more slowly. So hopefully that's something that you might do naturally, or something that you can do and have more fun with it than I did. You can sound amazing just using arms and wrists, and some of my favorite drummers aren't actually classically trained.
Started Sum 41 when we were kids. Like, we didn't have chops or anything at the time. It developed gradually, like by playing live. One thing that was really helpful is that we always played with a click track.
And they will openly tell us that they develop their technique just by writing and learning songs themselves, with no teacher or any classical training. So what's the takeaway from this? It sounds super cliche, but just have fun on the drums. The more time that you spend with the sticks in your hand, the more confident you're going to get, and the easier these techniques will be when you come to learn them in the future. A really good way of bringing in new techniques into your playing is to pick one and sprinkle it into your already formed practice routine. For example, throw rim shots into songs that you already know and you've already got the muscle memory and confidence for. 5 minutes a day over a few months is going to be much more beneficial than sort of slamming it all into an intense period and getting burnt out. So let's move on to creativity. So a lot of us start playing drums to play in a band, to write music, or play that epic solo at a house party.
Rock the fuck out of those drums, damn!
But after 2 years of kind of learning songs and techniques, my improvisation was still quite basic. I could copy grooves and fills and memorize them, but when it came to improvising on the fly, it sort of froze up. Copying is how we learn, it's essential, but at some point you have to shift from discovering what you want to play to learning how you want to play. And I wish I'd started this sort of creative side a little bit earlier. In an ideal world, I would have jammed with other musicians or played along to drumless tracks and written my own drum parts. And these don't need to be difficult or complex, they can be super simple, but it just gets you writing and thinking about how you can change the parts up to the different structures of the song. And then when you go for that jam with your mates, you're feeling relaxed and creative. So the takeaway here is, if you're only learning songs, you're building great muscle memory, but you're not building the creative part. My advice would be to balance that out with some chaos, jam without a plan, and that's where our voice as a drummer sort of starts to come through. So this final section is about confidence. I mentioned this earlier in the video, but around the beginning of the second year, I started to plateau a bit. And it wasn't because I was practicing any less or anything like that. It's just a natural part of the learning process. And some of the things that I needed to learn were the things that were going to take more time. So I started reading notation, for example, and that was something that pulled me back and made me feel like a beginner again. But it was something that now has propelled me forward and allowed me to learn songs much easier and to take the grade that I'm just about to take. Another example as well is that I'd learned the easier rudiments like singles, doubles and paradiddles. And I got to a tempo that I was quite comfortable with, but getting past that, I needed to build up the muscle memory and the pattern recognition. Reaching a sort of plateau period is so normal, but here's my advice on how to get past that a little bit more effectively than I did. When things start to stall, it's a good idea to get outside help or to build a structure or a plan. And this can be through a teacher or through just more effective planning of your practice sessions. A teacher or any kind of accountability partner can help you spot bad habits and challenge you to keep pushing and pushing. Anyway, what I'm trying to say here is that confidence grows when you know what to work on next and you've got a goal to work to. My advice here is always to track your progress, whether it's in a journal or recording videos of yourself or something like that. I've obviously made my progress videos and that's been really helpful to see how I'm progressing. You can see that the technique's getting better and the overall confidence and skill level is just improving. When you look back on your progress over time, it's really motivating to kind of keep you going and keep you inspired. If you do seem to get stuck on sort of notation or speed, it's sometimes a good idea to take a step back, slow things down and break it down into chunks and set some sort of manageable goal of where you want to get to in the near future. It's better to revisit the basics and get those nailed than try to bring on new techniques and new ideas when the old ones haven't been fully mastered. One thing that's made me feel like I'm constantly progressing, even if you sort of can't see it visually, is by working through the grade books, because it's giving you a sort of roadmap to follow and giving you a level that you can place yourself at to improve by the next year. It introduces new techniques and ideas gradually, so it'll bring in triplets and new rudiments over time when you're ready to get to them. And it will also expose you to more variety of musical genres. I'm someone that loves sort of grunge, alternative rock, pop punk music. So it's good to get a variety and bring in some blues or some hip hop into that. But something that the grade books and having a teacher do as well is they give you a more methodical path to progress with. And that obviously makes you feel like you're moving forward and moving forward all the time. So yeah, technique, confidence and creativity, those were my 3 biggest hurdles for my second year. Hopefully this will help you skip some of the trial and error that I went through to progress in my second year. I've got some more videos coming soon on techniques and specific exercises, so keep tuned in and keep hitting stuff and I'll see you in the next video.